Hello and welcome everybody to Charting the Way Forward. This is a free webinar that we have put together. Kerri Hummingbird Sami and Akeem Sami. Really
Akeem.
excited to be here with everybody. And I'm going to stop share. I just loved this graphic because it so shows charting the way forward to what? This looks like new earth to me. It looks like what it might be like at the higher levels, the etheric levels, like, oh, this is what we're going towards. We don't even know what it is yet necessarily, but we're headed there. So we're going to talk about that today. And I'm going to come in. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you guys. So we're really excited to have our first gathering of 2025. Yes, we're in 2025. Hard to believe. 2025, you guys. I am Kerri Hummingbird, medicine
Hi.
woman, mother and mentor and messenger, and I'm the #1 international best-selling author of Inner Medicine, Becoming One with Mother Earth for the Survival of Humanity. I always like to say dun 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 because it's so dramatic. But it is true. We are here for the survival of humanity. And also the second wave, transcending the human drama, as well as Love is Fierce, healing the mother wound. And this is our webinar, Charting the Way Forward. And Akeem is also here, my partner, Akeem Sami.
Yes. Hi, everyone. This is Akeem. I am a healer, body facilitator, body healing facilitator, massage therapist, martial artist, martial arts instructor, and of all things, network engineering. So, uh, bring a lot of pieces that come together from outside the ethers into the tangible third dimension.
Awesome, awesome, blossom. Yeah, we are really excited. We've been doing more and more work together, and this is our new creation. We've never put this one on yet, so we're really excited to see, what happens next. What we are the co-founders of Inner Medicine Training, and it's a self-actualization program that aligns you to your greatest destiny and gives you the tools and practices to live as a walking blessing in every aspect of your life. I'm sure we all want to be a walking blessing. Anybody else in a show of hands? Yes, I would like to be a walking blessing. And I don't always feel that way. Some days I'm the problem, So where we do our best, we do our best as we can. So yeah. So we're heading into a time when things are really expanding on the planet. The chaos is increasing, the sense of loss of control is increasing, and we might wonder, how can I live a blessed life on the planet at this time? How can I do that? Or how can I be the one that helps other people feel blessed? And that, who does anybody else feel the same way? Like, how do I, yeah, like I want to, I'm interested, but I just don't know necessarily how. And so I'm just curious just to get a read on everybody in the chat. On a scale of 1 to 10, how blessed a life do you actually feel like you're living right now? 1 being the least blessed, 10 being the most blessed. Like, where are you in your life right now? We got an 8, a 4, a 7, 6, 7, 3. Okay. So there's room. There's room for blessings in every single person there. There's room for more blessings. And so one of the things that we wanted to talk about is what needs to change in your life. Like, in order to have a blessing level of 10, what would need to change in your life to be at that blessing level of 10? Trust. Okay. Yeah. Anything else wants to be shared there? Didn't go through a process, but we're really excited to hear what you have to say. what you're dealing with. My perception. Oh yes. I could relate. More clarity of purpose, consistent inspiration. Quieter mind, more inner peace. Yeah. And the Toltecs call the busy mind, they say it's filled with mitote. Mitote, Mitote, which I think in Spanish means like busy marketplace. So if your brain is a busy marketplace, that leads to some stress.
Yeah, I've had actually had some also direct translations from folks from South Texas and northern Mexico, and they all seem to correlate that mitote translates to bad party in the mind.
Bad party in the mind.
Yeah.
So we came up with this. We were talking about, how to chart the way forward and what that looks like. And how would we even access what we're charting the way towards if we don't know where we are right now? So if we're going to take a journey anywhere, it starts with where you are now. It starts on the map with where you are and an honest assessment of where you are. And then from that map, from that placement, then we can feel into what else would be great. What other experiences do we want to have? Or how could things be improved? Like, what is the measure? What's the value of what could be improved? I actually just read front to back the book, what is it? The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I just listened, I read that from front to back last night. That was interesting. But he talks a lot about, your values and how your values are the things that help you decide if something is working or not, or if you're happy or not, or if you're, really feeling fulfilled or not, is because of those values. And so a lot of times we can take a look at those and see maybe that's some place that we could make a shift in order to feel more fulfilled, in order to feel more happy in our lives, more fulfilled, more at purpose. And these are all really big words, like what's your purpose and what's your destiny and how are you going to fulfill that? And even like concepts like new earth can feel really utopian. Like that's not possible. How are we going to do that? Look at the world today. You can see the mess out there. But it starts with us coming inside and checking in, bringing the attention inwards to see what's true here, what's true inside, and away from the outer noise, the matote outside, to come in and explore the inner matote and see like, okay, where am I actually? So we're going to lead you through an exploration and I was giving it to Akeem in the car. It came to me and Akeem was like, I don't think I like this part where you said, you're like, I don't like this analogy. But do you want to say any more about that, babe?
No, I'll let you go ahead and lead that off and I'll give my after.
You'll give his feedback after. Okay. So we were looking at like, how would you assess, if there's a change you want to make in your home or your home situation, maybe location, or maybe the situation you're living in, or your work, or your family, or your friends, or your love relationship, or your purpose, or just your general state of being, like to help you get a sense of where you're at in these areas. So we're going to do a short little check-in right now to look inside and assess. And the metaphor, this is the part that Akeem was like, the metaphor I'm offering you is to identify that part of your cycle of life that you're in. Okay, so when we look to nature, we can take metaphors that help us in our human existence to figure things out. And so this is the metaphor of fruit. Okay, so fruit, like a peach, when it begins, it's a seed. It's just beginning. It's got raw potential. It hasn't yet maybe cracked open, and it's got a hard shell, and but it's got potential. It's just not manifested yet. So that's the beginning, the seed. And the next stage is the unripe fruit. Maybe it's in the process of manifesting, but it's not yet flourishing. It's not really going yet, but it's the engine's starting to rev, like it's cracked its shell, it's making its way up to the surface of the earth, and it's looking for the sun, so it's on its journey. And then there's the ripe fruit. The ripe fruit is flourishing, and it's to be savored. It tastes good, it smells good, it's juicy, it's delicious, it's fantastic, and it's really ready. It's ready to fully enjoy. And that is the beautiful ripe fruit that we all love. We love that part. Who loves ripe fruit? Like when things are ripe, it's like my life's perfect. Because it's all ripe, it's working. It's what I want. It's ripe. But the thing is, eventually, every fruit starts to rot. It decays. It's done. It needs to be transmuted, recycled, put back into the earth. And that part, is anybody comfortable with the rotting fruit part? I just want to see a show of, yeah, rotting fruit? Yeah, okay. If it rots, it's rotting, right? We're going to recycle that energy. So there's some things in the world that are rotting. And if you imagine being surrounded by a lot of rotting stuff, it's kind of smelly, kind of doesn't feel good to see the rot. But what's happening is the mulching is happening. So we're getting this opportunity to see what's going to happen next with all that rotting fruit. So we're going to take a short little inner exploration right now to consider the different aspects of your life and the phase it's in. Yeah, it's still food for something, exactly. So let's consider that phase of that you're in different aspects of your life. So if you feel comfortable, just close your eyes. Let's take a nice deep breath. Let's take another one. And the last deep breath. So let's just consider your work, whatever you do for your work. What phase is it in? Is it a seed? Is it unripe? Is it ripe, or is it rotting? And you can jot that down or put it in the chat. And now let's take a look at your home environment. What phase is your home environment in? Is it a seed? Is it unripe? Is it ripe, or is it rotting? And you can place that in the chat, or you can write it down for yourself. And now consider your closest relationship. What phase is it in? Is it a seed? Is it unripe? Is it ripe and blossoming? Or is it rotting? And you can put that in the chat or write it down for yourself. And lastly, let's look at your purpose. Feeling into your purpose. Maybe you know what it is. Maybe you're still exploring, discovering, opening to it. Let's take a look. Is it a seed? Is it unripe? Is it ripe or is it rotting? Now let's pick an aspect of your life where the most change is needed. Maybe it's an area that's rotting, or maybe it's an area that's just beginning as a seed. So just feel yourself with this area of your life. How does it feel for you to know that this is the phase you're in? What emotions come up? Where do you feel it in your body? What thoughts are in your mind? Do you have fears, doubts, and worries? Do you have other feelings, maybe anger, grief? What's coming up? And if you want to share in the chat, you can share how you're feeling in the chat. Hmm. Ready for rebirth and work. Things are ripening. Yeah. Home life is rotting. Planting the seed. Awesome. Planting the seed for the new. Some things are ripe and some things are rotting. Relationship rotting. Purpose is unripe. Some things are a seed. Yeah, and feeling some uncertainty and hope and curiosity. So it's kind of like all at the same time. Doubt and fear. Yeah, and if you're just coming in, we're just using this metaphor of a fruit to assess, is there any area of your life that's rotting, that's on the way out, ready to die? Or any area of your life that's just beginning, that's a seed, is raw potential, not yet manifested. Just identifying that, sharing in the chat if you want to share with us. And how it feels to be, with something that's rotting. It needs to be let go of, that there's an experience of something rotting that needs to be released. And then there's a totally different kind of experience with a seed that's just been planted. So there's all these different emotions. And the thing is, these cycles of our aspects of our lives are all happening at the same time. So in some areas, we might feel really excited and like in a new beginning and planting new seeds and really feeling joyful about that. And in other areas, it might be rotting and we need to let go and there's that decay and that release that's sometimes very hard to do. So we'd be having all these different emotions at once. And Akeem, I know you had an experience when I gave this metaphor to you, and you took a look at an area of your life, and you were like, "Oh, I don't like that rotting one." Can you want to say more about that?
Well, yeah, taking a look at the concept itself of rotting fruit. For me, I know there's a lot of energetic stigma. I'm also a somatic therapist. So there is a common that I've noticed with clients I've worked with, as well as with myself, a feeling of rejection when you say rotten, and then you say it relating to yourself. And then there's the challenge of looking at that and the willingness to be that transparent and the ability to really dig inside yourself is hard for most people to do. But what I'm noticing here in everyone's comments is that everyone is able to be transparent, able to do deeper work. So I guess the people that's here is able to do some deeper work. There's deeper capability. So it's really nil unless you guys are not really aligned with this work. But look, you're here. You're doing the work. You're willing to dig already minutes into this. That's 10 times better than most of the clients that I've worked with, especially in the very beginning before we get deeper.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it's beautiful because Donna's saying, yeah, I'm happy for the old paradigms to rot and be reabsorbed, transmuted to nurture the new seed because
Yeah.
it's mulch, you know? And there's many times that I had things happen in my life. I don't know if anybody can relate to this, where I really didn't want that thing to happen. And I was really uncomfortable with it and I was resisting it and I was really upset. And to me, it just felt like shit. And I was like, this is just a big pile of shit. And I remember being in meditation with Pachamama, and she said, Kerri, it's not shit, it's mulch. And I
Ooh,
was like,
yeah.
okay. Yeah. And it was this place of like, this isn't what I signed up for. This isn't what I wanted. This doesn't look like what I said I ordered from the universe. This looks like something completely different. And I want what I want when I want it, and I want what I want it now. And I want it the way I wanted it. And this is really interesting. It's like being able to unpack the the feelings that you're having and also the desires, because the desires for the things that you've set into motion, they're based on a set of values that you have. And those values are actually what's important. So when we can start to unpack and take a look at what is it that I really value, and when we know what we really value, that will help us to get through the blocks, right? Because there are blocks. Can we just agree that there are blocks? Up until now, I've never seen it not have blocks. And this is one of the things that was in that book I read last night, front to back, that subtle art of not giving a fuck. But I can't remember the guy's name, but it was such a great book. And it's like, yeah, we're things are always gonna be inviting us to expand, always going to be inviting us to learn, always going to be inviting us to dig into something we don't know yet and then learn. And then that's the part, the thing we don't know yet, you know? And it's like the ego's like, no, don't expose me for not knowing that already, you know? I mean, the ego would prefer if we just hung out in the same, you know, sandbox forever and just kept doing the same things. But there's this part of us that says, no, there's more. There's more I want to experience. And that requires us embracing some of this unknown, right? Yeah. And that's why I said trust. Yeah. Trusting that I'm okay as I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm okay as I move forward.
And the willingness to evolve. I mean, that requires lots of courage to do that. And it's made easier when you're able to do it in community and you're able to do it with someone that's helping along the way as you're experiencing these blocks, as you're experiencing the heaviness of it. We create a safe space for that. and that's truly essential. That's number one in our community.
Yeah, and I was really interested in the book. I was like, oh, he says in here too that the way to happiness is by being with all your pain. I was like, that's what we've been doing. That's totally true for us anyway. But that happiness comes when we're able to be with the pain, when we're able to be with the discomfort, when we're able to really, yeah, mirror and reflect it to each other in community. When we're able to do that, we can see it more easily, we feel it, we can relate to it. And at some point you start realizing all of this external things we think we want, it's all to inspire us to take action so that we'll deepen our compassion, we'll deepen our experience, we'll deepen our wisdom, we'll deepen our know-how. And so rather than not pick anything, because some people's solution is, I'm going to avoid pain, so I just won't pick anything. I'll just not dream, because if I go for something, I might fail.
Yeah.
That's the whole
Or
point.
or just keep my head buried in work to the point where I don't really get the help that I actually need. And then I begin to feel victimized. Self-victimization, or conditions of I didn't get what I need because I wasn't able to get what I needed from the right person or the right conditioning or the right relationship, or the discernment that comes with that is also important too, right?
Exactly. And the thing is, we do receive guidance, right? I mean, I think every person alive receives some little nudge from their spirit or from their guides or their ancestors, some little bit of like, you could do this, a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of like, this is possible, go for this dream. And so I think I really firmly believe that everybody on the planet gets those nudges. It's just that sometimes we ignore them or we don't follow them because we've got resistance. We've got reasons why we can't. And so we actually put together a short quiz because we want to identify the blocks that keep you walking in place with the same conditions and just experiencing more of the same, right? Instead of moving forward, growing, expanding, and evolving. So we put together a little quiz to help you identify what your reasons are. And I'm going to do my best to I've never done a quiz before. I'm going to launch it now. Let's see if Kerri can do this. I'm so excited. What's going to happen?
Yep,
Did
I
you,
see it.
is everybody seeing the quiz? I could do quizzes. So just check all that apply. And for everybody watching back who might not be able to see what the options are, the quiz is, what are the blocks? What gets in the way of you making the changes you know you need to make? Multiple choice. And so some of them are lack of clarity about what's next, comfortable where you are, fear of not having your needs met, either financial, emotional, or otherwise, feeling responsible for others and putting their needs first, feeling nostalgic, don't want to let go, not having enough time or resource, not having enough motivation or energy to do it, and then having a fear of failure, a loss or rejection if you make the changes.
And that actually is one I see a lot in my profession, massage therapy. It's this fear of rejection, fear of repulsion, fear of being like ousted, fear of isolation, and some of this is ancestral as well, for those who are also in the conversation about previous lifetimes. That it really is. Some of this really does seem to add up and show up in family dynamics, even carried on from your parents and your parents' parents. At least in my experience, those are things that I've experienced.
Oh, yeah. And thank you for adding, Donna, fear of persecution, because that was our next question is, did we get them all?
Mhm.
Did we get everybody's fears? I'm not sure. I think almost everybody's participated, so I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. Let's see the results. This is so fun. I'm doing this. Can you guys see the results? Oh, this is exciting. Okay, it works. So let's see. Our biggest common denominators are lack of clarity about what's next, fear of not having your needs met, and fear of failure, loss, or rejection. And then not enough motivation is the next one, I think. Let's see. Comfortable where you are. Yeah, so that kind of goes along with not enough motivation. Feeling responsible for others. Is there any that wasn't clicked? No, all of them were clicked at least by one person. Not enough time or resource. That's so interesting. And let's see what else we have. Fear of missing out, FOMO, and fear of failure. Yeah, fear of missing out. Yes, ridicule. Yeah, it's hard to be ridiculed. It's hard to be the. Anybody else have a hard time being the outsider? No? Donna likes it. Anybody else? I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, cool. I did quizzes, you guys. That was my first time. It was very risky to do that. It could have failed, but I did it anyway. And that's really the medicine. We do it anyway. And we just know that people will have grace for us because we're trying it for the first time. So, any other thoughts about, now that you see that other people like maybe share some of your fears, what do you guys think about that? Like, maybe those fears aren't yours. What do you think? Maybe they're collective. Maybe they're just the way your brain works. Maybe they're part of the human experience, but they're not who you are. You get what I mean? Yeah, it's programming, isn't it? Because all of those thoughts are things that, like, are there to hold you back
Mm.
from following the one thing that will change your life, which is your soul.
And the ridicule kills comment. Wow, that's powerful. You can feel the energy underneath that. There's this book called Vision of the Extraordinary by Vishen Lakhiani. And he actually went into talking about ancestral programming and what they called rules of the previous generations. Could be locked in a culture, could be locked in like certain ways that this particular family participates. It could be, oh, we're all from this part of the world, and this is how we do things. When it gets cold outside, we make food, but we also convene and talk with each other about what's wrong with the world outside of us. Oh, tribalism. Okay, so there's a shadow that comes up with that. So it's giving the strengths and the weaknesses of, oh, we had communion in one hand, but the weakness on the other hand is we used it to ridicule anyone outside of our circle, which means it lowered our ability to listen to what's happening outside of our immediate circle. I experienced that in my family of origin. That was a strong point. Is we were a nuclear family, if you've heard of that term. We were really tight knit, but on the other side, we didn't want to reach out when any of us five didn't have the answer. So that Vishen Lakhiani was speaking to the shadows of what happens when you keep certain practices going. So we help bring all these things forward. And as we bring it all forward, you get a chance to bring it up for, is this good? Or there's a term that Vishen Lakhiani used. He had like 200 words. One of them was rules. That was a fusion of two words: bullshit, rules. So rules.
Rules.
So, he was saying, well, is that a rule? Does it really apply today, 3,000 years later? Does that apply now, 500 years later? Does that apply at this particular juncture in my life, in my 40, 50, 60, 70 years,
And this is really the crux, like, of any human experience is that there's going to be challenges. So, what we can do is we can choose some of the challenges, like we can choose a course of direction that will bring up a certain set of challenges. We can choose that. We can also choose how we meet the challenge. And so I've chosen many different ways of meeting challenges throughout my life. I chose psychotherapy, I chose wine, you know, I chose a lot, I chose acting out. I chose a lot of different ways throughout my life of how to like face these challenges, right?
Yep, I chose to bury my head in work. Just don't look, put the blinders on.
Just keep working, just keep
Yep.
clicking. Yeah, I've done that too.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. So, but there's other options. And when I found this medicine path that I walk with my all these amazing teachers I studied with, it was just like a kid in a candy shop. Like I was like, this works. This is so cool. This doesn't feel like suffering. This feels like fun. Like it flipped the script on the challenge and made it fun and interesting to identify these things and then to be the conscious creator that changes them, right? To shift it in the direction of me being more happy. And it's been a really fascinating journey, and there's times when, because we pick a lot of journeys, don't we, Akeem?
We do.
We take it on. And boy, sometimes I get in the middle of the thick part of it. And it's like, why did I do this to myself? I have these moments,
Could have
but
had a V8.
why? Like our 5th year initiation with the Wisharaga down in Mexico, it's like, oh my gosh, that is no joke. And boy, I can't believe it. But we got through it. We got 5 years of initiations. It's like, all right, we took a break this year. We're resting, taking a breather. But the most amazing thing is all that it opens up, like the realizations of self, the way that it helped us to come together more tightly, the way that it helped us to explore different aspects of our relationship and different aspects of our inner self, like what we're capable of. That is invaluable. That's really what we're here for. And it's made us more courageous, right? And more willing to go into the middle of the storm rather than hang back or try to hide from it. And I think that's the key differentiator. What I've noticed with people that achieve their dreams and people who don't, it's the
Yeah.
it's the determination to stay when it gets gritty, when it gets difficult, when it gets tough, when you don't feel good. And that's what we do with inner medicine training. So we help people get more resilient, more able to face challenges, face blocks, get curious, dig in, bring love to it, bring consciousness to it, understand yourself, get curious, and work on relationships too, because I used to be the first one that would bolt out the door when it got difficult. And now I'm the one who stays. And that's because I had really good mentors that helped me stay the course. And that's what we do with people. We help each other through the blocks so that we can embody what we need, the medicine we need to become the person we said we wanted to be.
And get the clarity that we need.
Because it's a
You know,
process.
being held in community like that to where you actually can go through these machinations in your mind as you put it out there, and we can actually make the uh, as some of our coaches would say, the unseen scene. You know, we put it out in the open, and we do it in a very safe way, in a very loving way, in a very compassionate way, so that we can all talk through it together and look at it. And then hopefully you'll have more clarity by the end of not just the session, but for the whole program.
And usually when people start getting in the journey, it's like a lot of synchronicity happens and they start going, whoa, wait a second. What is going on here? This is so crazy. We were just talking about that in class and then it totally happened in my life. And then,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It's just too synchronistic. Or I had like animal allies show up or like all this crazy stuff. So
all the time.
it's so powerful. And I'm not making that happen. I just created a space for it to happen with my partner, right? We created this space for this to happen, but it happens because the divine is activated because it knows we're paying attention. It's like, okay, these people are interested. Cool, let's teach them. So, I mean, it's the most amazing experience. And it's really about remembering who you are in truth, and navigating your life from that essential self that's connected to all that is. And it might sound kind of amazing and fantastical if you've been living like regular human life, up until now, like clunky and third dimensional and like everything's a struggle. But it's actually repeatable, because we've now proven this. It's repeatable. We've had many, many groups of people come through that have completely shifted the way they perceive life, the way they engage life, their experience of life. Like, doesn't mean that the challenges have stopped, but
Right.
now they're having fun with them. It's just different.
And one plus one, those moments when one plus one is supposed to equal two, but it comes out three, or two plus two is six. That doesn't make any sense why this is happening. But coming with that courageousness, coming with that willingness to move through the process and look at yourself deeply. That's where it's at.
And then you guys get to experience what I get to experience all the time, which is Akeem being like velvet. I mean, he's like velvety. He's so velvety, sweet.
People say
Anyway,
that. I've
it's
heard that
really,
said about me
he's
before.
very velvety and sweet. Yeah. So we practice mastery, commitment, and it's energetics. This is what I realized after all that time on the couch. Like, what was I doing there that wasn't working? And then what was I doing in my subsequent path to shamanism that was working? And it has to do with commitment, mastery, energetics, realizations, and a shift of perspective. So we've proven it works. We know it works. So now it's inviting you to it because you don't know it works. Just because we're telling you it works doesn't mean you know it works. Just because we're saying it works, you're like, oh, they say it works, so it does. Maybe we want you to see for yourself. So this is why we actually created, because our program's like 18 months. So this seems like a very significant commitment when most of our society is looking at TikTok videos and it's like 1 minute. You have to pay attention.
There's some good stuff on there. I'll say that.
So
But it's a
for
little
most
brief.
people, they're like 18 months. I only pay attention for 1 minute. So, you know, I know that you guys are not that because you're actually here, because you're here in the space. So I know you're not thinking that way. But there is like this way that we have, and Akeem read this great book called Dopamine Nation, which explains why it's like that. It's because we need constant dopamine hits,
Yeah.
right?
Dr. Doe and Dr. Diane Lemke spoke to that, and it's also being willing to face pain. She also described in there too.
Being
You
willing
know,
to
and
face pain.
well, and even the pain physically, tangibly, third dimensionally in our body, when we experience pain, our systems are already taking over to heal from it. And if you numb it, like I had the blinders up, that was me trying to numb it. Or you drink it off, that's trying to numb it. Eat a lot of sugar, I did that one too. Try to numb it.
Hmm.
Try to create more feel goods, laughter yoga, laugh it all off when I wasn't really authentically feeling happy. Smile, but not really feeling like smiling. There's your information right there. There's your answer. That's being willing to disconnect doesn't give my mind, which happens to be a muscle, the pieces that it needs to begin building the pathways that actually do honor me, that actually honor the situation, that actually honor what's happening. And, with the willingness to feel that pain and the willingness to be transparent and be courageous, you face pretty much anything. Just you put yourself into the mindset that helps to heal something and not just for a quick fix, but for the long term, for the rest of your life, even.
Yeah, it's not a quick fix. I love that you said that. It's not a quick fix. It becomes the way you are, it becomes your state of being. It just becomes how you meet everything that happens in your life from this new place. It is a practice. Yeah, it's a practice of mastery.
Mm-hmm.
So we do that with people. And it helps because it takes a while to rewire your consciousness to this new way of being. It takes 18 months in our program because that's just how long it takes to really be sure that you're operating in a whole new way and you don't slide back. So we do this in inner medicine training. We have a new training coming up that starts March 2nd. And this training, all the trainings have a mascot. They always have a mascot that shows up to me before the training starts. And the first one was Jaguar, the second one was Coyote, the third one was Condor, and the latest one was Owl. Well, this time it wasn't an animal. This time it's a Rainbow Warrior. So I'm going, whoa, I wonder, I'm
What's
curious.
that?
Yeah, like we're going to talk about that next week and see what comes through. We have another free webinar next week called Calling All Rainbow Warriors. And we're going to find out too. I have some ideas about what it means, but it came through strong and it was like, nope. And the medicine is turquoise. I was like, turquoise. Okay, that's major medicine on the North American continent for indigenous people. All right, so we're doing this. So to get you into a space where you could see what it's like working with us week after week, and you want to hang out with us every single week for 18 months. It's a
Mm.
long time, people.
But
Uh,
we don't do it all in one chunk.
no, we do like infusions,
Yep.
infusions every week of higher vibrational
I
energies.
mean, unless you're just hardcore and just go all the way in right now, which that's what Kerri did. She's
I
like,
did. I
let's
just
go.
went, I'm in. I'm signing up right now.
Firefly
You can do
medicine,
that if
just
you want.
lightning. Wow.
Yeah, we start on March 2nd. It's going to be Sunday nights. It's going to be from 7 to 8:30 p.m. on Sunday nights. And it's broken into three parts. So, if you don't want to go all the way out through the 18 months in one fell swoop, you can leap out between the levels. There's three levels. But, you know, don't like stay the course and do it, because you're on a roll. Like you're in the medicine, you're on the journey, you're like, and it's kind of like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. It's really exciting and really like, whoa, mind blowing. It's always like that every single group. It never gets old for me, which is one of the reasons I'm so loving doing this,
Yeah,
especially
me
with my
too.
partner. So fun.
Yeah, me
But
too.
we created a taste test because we were like, we're asking people to go from a 1 hour webinar to like 18 months weekly with us. We might need something in between. Like, that's kind of a big ask. That's a long time to be with us. So we created a 4-week program that's called Charting the Way Forward. And there's going to have 4 weeks of processing our mythic story process. So we lead people through a mythic story process that I actually learned the basis of it when I went through Four Winds training with Alberto Vialdo. And this training was pivotal for me because I realized that a lot of what was getting me stuck in the weekly psychotherapy sessions, where I was going to try to help myself, right? Like, I was very determined. I went for like 20 years weekly. So I meant it. I was really trying to work this. And the thing that I realized when I went to my training with the Four Winds is, first of all, there's energetics involved and there's ancestral healing. There's this whole other realm of things that are involved in it that I didn't know about. And there was one key piece, which was the mythic story. And so we adapted it and we created our own version of the mythic story. And what it's here to help you do is to change your identity, to change the way that you think about yourself, that you perceive yourself, and that also that you navigate life and perceive life through, and the way that you talk about yourself and the narrative that you use to talk about yourself. And so it goes a little bit like this. So there's week 1, we're going to explore the leap of faith. What stuck area do you need to take a leap of faith on? We're going to identify what that stuck area is, what that thing is that you're afraid to change because of all the reasons we just mentioned. There's a lot of reasons why. Those are real reasons. And so we don't discount that at all. We're not a bypassing group. We're really going to explore those feelings and why it is that it's hard to leave that. So it will get vulnerable. It will get tender. We'll have an hour together to do that. And we'll do some healing and we'll do some acceptance work. So that's week 1. Week 2 is make the great departure. Make the great departure is, you have to make the leap of faith, and then you've got to go on the journey. You've got to depart from the old life. You've got to plan take your backpack, fill it up with what you actually need, take the journey, go. You've got to do that. You've got to depart from who you thought you were and what you thought life was about, and leave a space there for something new to happen. And we're suggesting anchor in Rainbow Warrior. What medicine does this high frequency archetype bring you? What does that bring into your life to help you navigate things in a different way? It's going to be very interesting. Then week 3, we take the vision quest. So we open to your soul's guidance and receive a vision of what's possible. We'll take you on a shamanic journey. We'll open the space. We'll let you connect with your soul, and we'll ask for a vision for you, a vision of what's possible for you when you make this change. And then the last week is the bid for power. And Akeem and I have both learned a lot about the bid for power by working with another wonderful set of teachers, the Power Path, and Jose and Lena Stevens and Anna. We're all about the Power Path. They're all about power. And so we learned about the bid for power from them and making that cosmic claim, for the life that you're calling forth for yourself. Because when you make that claim, it's going to start things rolling. Things are going to start moving in that direction. Things are going to fall away that you don't need anymore. Things are going to open the path. The synchronistic things are going to start happening. And that's what happens in inner medicine training, like every single week. So we are doing a really condensed version of what happens over, for example, in level 1 is a 6-month program that gives you the foundation. It brings you around the medicine wheel, gives you a foundation of the medicine wheel, gives you a foundation of your gene keys chart, because we weave a lot of things into this program. And this gives you a 4-week condensed version of that. So it's a good way to test it and see if you like it. If it's like your jam, if you're like, oh my God, stuff just started moving so crazy. And I'm actually excited because I know it will. So I'm really excited about hearing people's stories about what happened and just the awe. I love awe. Anybody else like awe, gratitude, love, and awe? Oh yeah, I'm a big fan. So like, yes, let's do it. So we also are offering a special. So if you're feeling a sacred yes to take our taste test or a test drive or whatever you want to call it, our mini flight, charting the way forward, because we're not going backwards. I'm going to put a link in the
Forward.
chat. Yeah, we're going forwards only. I'm going to put a link in the chat, and this is for 144. So it's 144 for the 4-week series. And you can use that link to enroll right now, and we will add you to the 4-week series. It starts on the 26th of January, and it is at 7 to 8 p.m. Central, which is 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern, and then it's 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific. I always have to check myself because I'll go backwards in time zones on Sundays. Yes. So we're really, really excited about this. We hope that you'll want to join us for that. And then if you feel more of a pull, like if you feel like, you know what, I'm really feeling this inner medicine training, I really want to try this, I want to see what it's more about, I need some more help, you can actually get a free discovery call from me. I'm going to put that link in here. You can schedule it. And if Akeem and I can both be on, we will. Otherwise, it will be me. But yeah, you can schedule that and we can have a conversation. And so next week, yes, next week we have another free webinar on Sunday. This time it's going to be later. So this one was early. The next one's going to be later. It's going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. And that is the Calling All Rainbow Warriors one. So if you want to come to that one, I'm just going to pop the link in here so that it's easy for you to sign up. And these will all be in the notes down below for the replays. And you can join and find out more about that too and get another dose of what does this look like.
Yes. And I wanted to bring something in. Donna gave the really good suggestion of Roberto Assagioli. He had this really good quote that aligns perfectly with what we're doing in our program. The mind is brought into harmony with the spirit and includes the body, achieving an organic, harmonious unity of all aspects of the person's being, what we might call biopsychosynthesis. This is true spiritual alchemy. That's by Roberto Assagioli. Really beautiful
Beautiful. Thank
statement.
you for that.
Thanks for sharing that, Donna.
Yes, thank you so much. So before we close out, let's just have one word from everyone. How was today for you? How are you feeling right now in this space? Isn't he velvety? So
Thanks, Sarah.
it's really nice.
Some people said I should be a radio announcer once upon a time.
Optimistic, expansive, and a heart. I like hearts. Beautiful. Yeah, it's really beautiful work. Very, Sarah says, feeling very invited, safe, and curious and soothing. Yeah. Yeah, we hold a very relaxed, transformational space. Hmm. We love it. We love doing this. It's so much fun, you guys. So much fun. Yeah, Donna.
Yeah, I would just like to say to anyone who's never taken a class with you
Oh,
that it is really just so lovely. Um, it's very real and and you can authentically show up. Kerri has a way of holding space for the group that's so safe and loving, and even when facing the things that might seem difficult, there's an element of play with the medicine that lightens it so that it's easier to look at and walk. And you do feel this collective support of the group and the community that really lifts the anticipatory burden of facing things that are uncomfortable. It makes it feel like it is accessible and that it's navigatable and that it's somehow becomes a path and a formula that you can use um, outside of class as well, and then bring back the experiences to class. And it really is an accessible practice and a preferred way to move forward in the world. You're collaborating with yourself and with others and with spirit, with a real higher sense of yourself, and that self empowerment. And it was a short class we took, but I really loved it, and I loved all of the animal totems that were brought in. Kerri had painted pictures of them, and I begged her to produce them, and so that I could buy them, and I did, and they're beautiful, and they hang in my house, and I speak to each one of them every day. They hang right in my living room, so I pass them every day, and I ask for um, guidance, and they walk with me ever since class. So it's a really beautiful thing.
Wonderful.
oh gosh, I love that you said that, Donna. Thank you so much for those kind words and everything you just shared. Yeah, and I love what you shared about that you can somehow practice all of these things outside of class. This is what I'm here for, you guys. Like, I'm a healer, so I could fill up my schedule doing healing sessions all day long, every day for the rest of my life. But I wouldn't really be teaching anybody what I know. I would just simply be clearing up some energy, and then they go off and probably, you know, be countering the same challenges because I haven't helped them see how the mechanics, right? The mechanics of how. So what I love to do and what Akeem loves to do is we love to share the mechanics of how do you move through this so that you're empowered, because hopefully if we're doing our job right, you graduate and you leave, and you come to community gatherings, please, because after I've spent that much time with you, I really want to see you. But you're good. Like, you're off in your life and you're doing your thing, and maybe you're even co-creating with us, because in our community, we've actually created a way that when you graduate through a certain level with us, then you can start co-creating in our community. You can create public offerings. You can co-create with other people in the community. We'll put it under inner medicine. So, like, if you go through our healer training program, you'll be listed as a healer on the website.
Hmm.
So we really want everyone to be successful to the greatest level of whatever success looks like for you, because it's your value, it's your definition. We want you to have that, and we can facilitate that. If we can facilitate that, we will. That's just
I think you absolutely do facilitate that, and it's awesome in the true sense of the word awe that um, it is a practice that you share, yet it's a shared practice where we all connect, but it is as individual as you need it to be at the same time. And that's really a magical thing. And it makes you feel not only so more connected to yourself and self-aware, but more connected to the community, and then therefore more connected to the collective and what's happening on the planet and Mother Earth. It's really a beautiful space.
Oh gosh, and I loved having you be part of it. So I hope you're saying yes to this next one because I want to see you again. Yeah, that's the only thing I run into. Akeem's like, let them be, and I'm like, no, I want them to come back and play with me again. Why are they leaving? And he's like, let them be. So he's always comforting me because I miss people when they leave, and it's just fun, right, babe? So much fun.
Oh, totally. And this is what we've created in our whole group is this willingness to all be transparent, to all be able to bring our hearts and for it to all be completely safe, like Donna's describing, and to be able to really take new heights and then be able to look at it from a collective standpoint. Our entire intention underneath, and we do lots of prayer together as well as separately on this whole community, but our whole place is that each person that goes through our program be able to reach other people in a big, meaningful, loving way. Every single person. And we hold that intention with every time that we connect with someone, reach out, help work through it. We're thinking all the way down, we're feeling all the way down what kind of effect that each one of you is going to have in the world after doing this work together. I call it alchemy work. When we do this alchemy work together, what are you going to do? How are you going to change the world? I'm very excited, and I know Kerri is too.
I am. I'm very excited. I love to see it happen. We have a couple of people right now that are like second year healer training, and they are starting to pop. It's incredible to see. They're just like popcorn, just like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting, just to see people step into their power, into their voice, into their medicine, and like get courageous and go do it. It's just like, wow. It's really amazing. So we hope you guys will come test drive us or taste test us or whatever the phrase you want to use, charting the way forward. And if you're watching back on YouTube or you're on iTunes, you can go in the show notes and the link will be in there, or you can just look on the website, kerrihummingbird.com, Kerri, hummingbird.com. It's all on there on the events page. And we just look forward to playing with you. We literally, this was the one thing that when I was looking at my purpose, like how I want to show up for the planet, because I love Mother Earth and I really want to see humanity succeed and step into this Homo luminous, this opportunity we have for the rainbow body to become conscious humans. I really want this really, really from my heart, my soul. And I thought, okay, well, it's just wake up more people. That's it. That's the whole thing I can do because I can't do it by myself. No, but nobody can do it by themselves. We just do it together. And so that's why I do the work I do. I try to make it fun to wake up. I think I'm successful. And so join us and have some fun with it, have some play, and learn how to bring a little joy into the middle of the chaos. Enjoy the ride. And we'll look forward to seeing you in all the ways we see you. We'll see you next Sunday if you want to come with us for calling all Rainbow Warriors. If you want to see us for Inner Medicine, starts on March 2nd. We love you. We'll see you next time. We'll send the replay out. And blessings, everybody. Have a great night. Bye for now.
Good night.